Hey, Allison Verhalen here with AV Writing Services, and today I am talking about your newsletter and specifically the best time to send it out. So we all know timing is everything, right? If you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, things don't work out. If you're in the right place at the right time, things work out for you. So with your newsletter, you're already in their inbox, so you're in the right place. You just need to make sure you're there at the right time. So I'm going to start with when not to send out your newsletter. So let's say you're in the B2B space. Sending out your newsletter over the weekend on Monday is really bad because on Monday morning, they're going through all those emails that they got over the weekend, and most of the time they're just deleting them without even taking a second glance. And a lot of the time on Monday mornings, people are kind of depressed. The weekend's over, they're facing a whole nother week of work. They're not really awake yet. They're not in a great mindset to open your newsletter and say, hey, yes, this is something I really need. This is awesome. They're like, I'm here. Let's just do this. Let's just get through the day. So do not send out your email, your newsletter on the weekend or on Monday morning. At the same time, if you do it too late in the week, let's say Thursdays are pretty good, but let's say you send it out like Friday afternoon. Most of the people, if they're not already out of the office, it is very common for people to take Fridays off, especially this time of year during the holidays. But even throughout the year, especially in the summer, people take long weekends, they travel, they want to get a head start to enjoying whatever it is they're going to do over the weekend. So if they're not already out of the office on Friday afternoon, maybe they are opening their newsletters, their emails, but they're not paying a whole lot of attention to it. They might open it, look through it real quick, okay, great, and then delete it. Again, they're not in a great mindset because even if they are in the office still, they're already mentally checked out. Their body might be in the office, but their brain is already out doing whatever it is they're going to be doing that evening or in the week, over the weekend. So for the B2B space, your best bet is usually Tuesdays and Thursdays, according to MailChimp's data. Wednesdays are also good. I have a whole chart about this on this week's blog post at avwritingservices/blog. So if you want to check that out, it's when is the best time to send out your newsletter. So check that out. There's a whole bunch of data. You can see it visually. You can see the best times throughout the week to send out your newsletter and when people are actually opening them. So according to MailChimp, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the best, but Wednesdays are also good. So that's the best day. What about the best time of day? Again, in general, you want to make sure people are in the office. Not right when they get in the office. You want to give them a little bit of time, but you also don't want to hit them when they're at lunch. So for the mornings, usually anywhere from like 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is pretty good. And then in the afternoon, anywhere from like 1 to 3 is pretty good. So again, you want to miss that lunch rush. But you want to get it to them by 3 o'clock because after 3:30, again, if people aren't already checked out for the day, literally and physically, they're usually at least mentally checked out for the day. They're kind of trying to wrap things up, making sure that they get through their to-do list before they head out the door. They're not really looking to add stuff to their plate. They're not going to reach out and call you at that time or email you or whatever it is you want them to do with your newsletter. So 9 to about 10 or 11, and then about 1 to 3 in the afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are the best time for B2B. If you're in the B2C space, let's say you have a shoe company and you sell shoes and you know that your newsletters are going straight to their personal emails. See, all that other recommendation was for their work email. But if it's going to their personal email, maybe they're not opening it during the week and during the day. Maybe they're opening it on the weekends, on the evenings, maybe first thing in the morning before they go to work, and they tend to shop on the weekends. So if that's when you catch them, if you're running a sale or having some kind of an event, catch them on the weekends because that's when they're going to be more likely to open your newsletter and take whatever action it is that you want them to take. So again, it depends whether you're in the B2B space or in the B2C space. Regardless of whether you're B2B or B2C, if you are running a sale, hosting some sort of an event, if you are speaking at an event and you would like to invite them to come and hang out with you while you talk about whatever awesome information you're going to give during that speech, let them know ahead of time. Give them about like 3 to 5 days notice at least. If you know they open your stuff on the weekends and you're hosting something on a weekend, give them a full week in advance of advance notice before you actually host that event. So say, hey, this weekend, send out that newsletter. Let them know that next weekend you're hosting an event, you're having a sale, whatever it is, so that if it's something where they need to be there physically, you give them time to open the email, and B, you give them time to plan, put it on their calendar, make arrangements, whatever it is they need to do to actually get there. Only about 23% of emails that get opened right when you sent them. So even though timing is everything, and it is very important, you make sure you want to make sure you don't get deleted right away. But a lot of people will, if it's a super valuable newsletter and they open it all the time and they're always happy with what they get in that newsletter, they're going to put it aside and save it for later when they have time to really appreciate it and enjoy it and really consume that information. So don't assume that people are opening your newsletter right when you send it. It might take a few hours, it might even take a day or two. Again, it depends on your audience. So that brings us to our next point, because I just went over everything, all the data about what it says as to when you should send out your newsletter. But there are exceptions to every rule, and every audience is a little bit different, right? So always, always, always track your data. If you are sending out your newsletter at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and people are opening it on their lunch break, maybe they're opening it at noon, then send it out at noon. Send it out at 11 or 12 so that it's fresh, so that they see it when they get when they get on their lunch break. If they open it super early in the morning or late in the evening or on the weekends, do that A/B testing so that you make sure that you know when your audience is checking their email, when they're opening your newsletter. So that's the first thing that you need to track. The other thing you need to track is your click-through rate. You should always have links in your newsletter to your website. It doesn't have to be exclusively links to your website. There should absolutely be value in the newsletter, but you should also be trying to get them to your website. So are they clicking on those links? And do some A/B testing. If you have a lot of open rates but not a lot of people clicking on those links, maybe try a different time. Maybe, again, you're just catching them at a bad time. They're trying to get through their emails. They're trying to send stuff out. They're trying to get through the day. They're trying to get out of the office. Whatever it is they're doing when they're getting your email, see if a different time will work better in terms of not only getting people to open your emails, but getting them to actually click through and take that next step. That's why if you're in the B2C space, if you're selling something like shoes or clothes or makeup or whatever it might be that's going for that disposable income that people have, then you're going to want to send it on the weekends or on the evenings when people are actually shopping instead of when they're at work doing work things. So always, always, always track your data. Now, what should you put in your newsletter? We send out a newsletter once a week. We post a blog post once a week. So it's always about our blog post. It's always, this is what's new, this is what's going on, and then again, it's a link back to the website. You can do that. There are other people who do roundup posts, and I read those all the time. I know there are lots of marketers that I follow that I get their newsletter, and they show me what else is happening in the industry. And they always have at least 1 or 2 links to their own website, but they also have links to other marketers' websites that talk about, they're not direct competitors, but they're talking about what it is that's just going on in the world of digital marketing these days. And that's super valuable to me. And again, like I said earlier, if you're having an event, if you're running a sale, if you're speaking at an event, always include that in your newsletter. Let people know. A lot of the reason that people sign up for newsletters is so that they can know about sales ahead of time. A lot of the retailers that I get newsletters from, I don't check their website regularly to see if they're having a sale. I rely on that newsletter to let me know, hey, we're having, a Cyber Monday sale or a Good Friday sale or a Independence Day sale or whatever it is. I'm not going to actively go and check that. I rely on those newsletters for that information. So always, always, always let people know in your newsletter if you're having a sale, if you have an event, if you're speaking at an event. All that stuff is super valuable, and that's why people sign up for your newsletters. Also, exclusive content is great, and that can be a great way to get people to sign up for your newsletter. If you let them know, hey, if you want super secret tips about this industry and we're not telling anyone else, we're only putting it in our newsletter, you have to be in the in to get that information. People love that, and that's a great way to get people to sign up for your newsletter, to open your newsletter, to position yourself as an authority without relying on them to go to your blog post. All they have to do is open your newsletter and they get all that awesome content and they love it. So absolutely take advantage of that. And those are our tips this week for when to send out your newsletter and what to put in it to make sure that you get the most out of it. So have a great week. Happy marketing. If you need any other help, if you want any other advice, if you're looking for more information about newsletters, blogging, website landing pages, whatever it is, reach out to us. We are at avwritingservices.com, and our email address is info@avwritingservices.com. Thanks again. This is Allison Verhalen with AV Writing Services. Have a great week and happy marketing.